I think it's amazing that when we get into our headspace of choices or the change that we want in our life and the things that we want to have shifted, we have to take a chance. Most of us won't take a chance. And why won't you take a chance? Because it's uncertain. It's uncomfortable. It's not knowing the ending of, and well, what if this happens? And then what about that? And you said this, but now this isn't going to happen. And what about, see, there's things in life that shift and change. And I talk about the 3 C's. We've seen many people talk about this kind of stuff, but I want to put it into a different perspective when we have to make, ultimately, the beginning part of all is to make a choice. A choice. You have to make a choice where you just finally draw the line and say, I'm done. I'm done right now. I'm done. And that could be a spiritual choice where you feel deflated, or maybe the relationship that you have with God needs to be stronger. The religion you're kind of questioning, or you don't have a God relationship at all. Again, I'm not going down the rabbit hole of just this. Or let's just think about going to work. I don't want to sit in a cubicle ever again. I don't want to be in traffic. I don't want to do that. Why am I doing this job? Just because I got that piece of paper, I don't want to do that. Have you been there? I know a ton of people have been in one of those 3 scenarios, if not multiple. And then you have to make a choice. This relationship is killing me right now. What's going on? I have to make a choice. You see the shift? And if you're not making that shift, then what happens is that you get stuck. You live in a world of uncertainty, but more importantly, certainty. Actually, now that I think about it, it is certain. You're creating certainty because you don't have to make a change at all because I'm not making any choices. Sound familiar? Maybe you get dressed in the morning and your pants aren't fitting the same and you're like, oh, gosh, this is awful. I got to go on a diet. Do you? Or do you need to make a choice of saying this is unacceptable? Or you're in a relationship and you feel like almost like your work life where you're punching in and punching out, and you're in this marriage and this relationship where it's just like, what am I doing right now? We need to make a choice. Do you want to make it work, or do you want to go on your own? No different than we being you and your boss. Do you want to make it work, or do you want to go on your own and go somewhere else and go do something else? Nothing's wrong with that. What do you want? You live here one time. I live by that. And so, trust me, I say this to myself every morning, Eddie. What choices are you going to make today to make it to really make a change in your life? How do you want to do that? And then you transform from those things, and you grow into being a better you. And so the people around you start to see this little fire. You're like, "What's up? I'm back." Yeah, it's super important. So let's talk about the 3 C's. When you talk about making that ultimate choice of saying, "No, what? Not anymore. I'm going to raise my standards." No. No is okay, by the way. No. Then and only then do you have to start taking a chance. You have to take a chance. And if you don't take that chance, you're always going to be stuck in that world of, I know I have my choices, but I don't know. We'll see. One day, I'm going to sign up for the gym and maybe get a trainer, or I'm going to actually go for a walk, or maybe I'm going to stop and pause and get in gratitude and pray, or maybe I'm going to change that diet a little bit, or maybe I want to live in a different home, but I don't know if I can really make that choice. If you're unwilling to make that choice, then you're never going to see change. It's the truth. And if you don't do that, then what happens? We get stuck. We get stuck in just enough. Yep, just enough. I think of the extreme on this. I'm a little on the schmoopy side. I'm not going to lie to you. I really am. And it's, I love love. I just do. I love togetherness and intimacy, and I think it's super important. Everybody has their own love language. Yeah, that's mine. So I think of, I remember watching the movie Bridges Over Madison County. And so I'm watching this with Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep doing this, and she feels like she has no choices because she lives in this small town, and she's a farmer's wife, and he just does his thing. and she does her thing, straight up roommates. And there's no us. There's no bond. There's no, I just do my thing. He comes home, dinner's on the table. He goes to shower, goes to bed, wakes up the next day, works the farm, and I hang around the house and maybe go to the store and that is your life. Wow. Really? We are in America, and we have an opportunity here like no other place on the earth. And so shame on us for living less than. And I watched that movie, and this guy, photographer, Clint Eastwood, shows up in Madison County as he's just taking pictures of bridges in Madison County, hence the name of the movie. And I watched this, and a spark lights her up. This person is interested in her. And there's this bond. There's this something there. It's just no money can buy it. It's completely divine. It's just what happens when there's just that spark. That spark happens when you get excited about a certain something, sport, career, activity, hobby, right? And when you're just like, I get to do this. I can't wait to go do this. That funness, if you will, in life. Yes, life has its responsibilities, but when are you going to have that fun, that playtime? You have to make a choice of saying this is enough. When we get in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, we feel like, oh, one day I'll do this, one day I'll do that, because there's an expectation we not only set upon ourselves, but other people look around and say, that's who you are. That's that piece of paper on the wall, or you've always done that thing. Oh, that's so you. Is it? Are you living that facade, or you just say, I'm going to make some choices? And unfortunately, when we do make choices, there are other people that will come into our lives they've always been in our lives, by the way, that go, you're doing that now? That's not what, I didn't know that. That's interesting. That's weird. And then you start second guessing your choices. If you don't do for you, then you're good for nobody or no thing. I call it serving. Not being selfish, you are serving. Because when you make the choices of doing the things that you want to do, what happens? You feel empowered. You feel unstoppable. You feel like, gosh, I'm back. I'm in the zone. I got my cape on. Woo! Right? I can do my thing. Because when you're doing your thing, you get to play in this thing called life and serve people with the gift that you have. It could be from playing a sport to doing a hobby. You get to serve and share with people. Playing an instrument, doing whatever career you're into, right? You get to do it. You create a vision for what you want, but you have to make that choice. So I beg of you today, write down something. Probably don't even have to write it down because you know. But write down something right now that you just said, I can't believe I'm still doing this. Why am I still doing this? I ask somebody else in your life to help you make that choice and that transition. And when you do that, you start to see really a change because you took that chance. If you're not willing to take the chance, I wrote down here on my table here, but you must make a choice to take a chance, or your life will never change. You must make the choice to take a chance, or your life will never change. What if you're stuck in I'll go back to the relationships. What if you're in this relationship and then two people are not willing to make a different choice, not willing to do for the other so you can grow as one? Then there's a change that's going to happen, right? These guys end up getting separated. And so what happens with all of that? No different than a sport. I've always played baseball. And now I want to start playing, golf, racquetball. It doesn't matter. I have to and so what happens is you start having new friends, don't you? Sure, because the baseball friends are very different than the racquetball friends, let's say, because they don't do those things. And now you have a new environment, because you just made a choice and therefore a change occurred. But we have to do that with our bodies. I believe that if the problem comes from the inside, so does the answer. Physical, emotional, spiritual, nutritional, hormonal, chemical. It's all in the inside. Because our body is always going to react to our thoughts. Always. I talk about the power of the two brains pretty frequently. And so one brain that we think with and the other one that keeps us alive. But regardless, your body is still being affected by your choices. And as they're being affected by your choices, your body's willing to take that chance on your choice and adapt to that choice, and then therefore change. Why is change such a bad thing? Every species does it. Right now the leaves are changing, don't they, every fall? Autumn, don't they? Sure they do. Water. Look at the shift of water and how it transforms. It can go from a solid state to a liquid state to a gaseous state, right? Vapor. How does that happen? Does it do it by choice? No, it's just adapting to the environment. What environment are you creating for your life in order for you to be a better version of you? For instance, I've never hit, and I will not hit 200 pounds. That's just a standard I set for me. I got up to 199.6 at one time, I believe it was. And I was like, holy cow, what are you doing? I feel this little, the cheese on the side of my hips. I'm soft. I'm not a big boy. I'm 5'9". And so I'm just going, no. This is unacceptable for me. I am making a choice of no, I am not going to be this way. And so this was several years ago. So I said, I need to change this. I need to change that. I need to change this. I have to take that chance in order to do that. That's the only way I'm going to get change. And that's what happens. Some people are like, well, I can only do 5 push-ups, or I can only do 10 curls of that thing, or I can only run a half mile, not a full mile. So what? You have to do consistent. When you do consistent, your body will change based on the choices that you're giving it by taking that chance. I mean, can I hit this, kick the horse anymore? Because again, oh my gosh. There's some things, this is tough. This is tough for all of us. There's some things we can't change. Maybe we have a health issue, or maybe there's something in our life that we feel like we can't let go of. Maybe it's a family member that is just really toxic, or there's that one friend that I've known forever that I need to remove them from, and deep down you have to remove them. Maybe it's I have to leave this church because it's not resonating with me anymore, and I have to make the shift. And it's uncomfortable, but when you take that chance brings change. It does. It's kind of like I'm not going to eat all that fried food all the time. I'm going to refrain from sugar, and I'm going to drink some more fluids that are not full of chemicals, and I'm going to try to eat things that are fueling my body. See, I look at people and food the same way, by the way. Is that if I put something in my mouth, is it constructive for me or is it destructive for me? Does my body assimilate it and use it to make healthy things, or is it now having to adapt and get rid of that stressor and because it's a chemical-filled thing and the body's working overtime, and now we live less than? People are the same. If you're hanging out with me, are you building me up or tearing me down? If I go to this job, is it building me up or is it tearing me down? If I go to this church, is it building me up or tearing me? Again, choices. You have to make the choice. That's the only way. That's the only way. So I ask of you today, because I'm not going to harp on this any longer, are you willing right now to tell that person, to tell yourself in the mirror, not anymore. I don't need this any longer. I don't want this any longer. I'm making a shift, and I know it's uncomfortable for you, whoever you may be talking to, including the mirror, but you have to do that for you. I'm a fan of dry erase markers. I got one here. I write on my table. This table's glass, and I write thoughts and that kind of thing on the table. Again, write on your mirror. Put a sticky note on your mirror. Give you reminders. I'm surrounded by motivational quotes. I listen to motivational and spiritual type of music. I'm a big, I listen to a ton of Christian music. My kids know. We have fun. It's uplifting. Again, what are you doing? I want to be around you because when you are around me, I want to add to your life as you are with me. And when you do that, you grow as a human being. And that is how you make a change in your life. So be willing to do that. Get uncomfortable. Just get uncomfortable. And I'm telling you, your life will shift forever. Think on those things. Have a great day.